So we were told that all human life would be ended. It would be like Deep Impact, except if crisis had not been averted by the tax cut, right? The tax cut was going to end all human life on Earth. And that obviously has been happening. The latest evidence that millions will die because of the Trump tax cuts comes courtesy of Apple, run by Tim Cook, a lefty, who said that they would now pay a one-time tax of $38 billion on their overseas cash holdings and ramp up spending in the United States as they seek to emphasize their contributions to the American economy after years of taking criticism for outsourcing manufacturing to China. Why? Because we changed our tax policy. Right now, we've changed our tax policy. The corporate tax rates were dropped dramatically, which means that now Apple doesn't have to outsource, right? All of its costs just went down for doing business in the United States. They say they will invest $30 billion in capital spending in the U.S. over 5 years. That would create more than 20,000 jobs. The total includes a new campus, which initially is going to house technical support for customers. They're calling this Apple HQ2, and right now there's an open competition among cities around the United States to get the new Apple headquarters. It'll probably be in Austin, Texas. If anybody thinks it's going to come to L.A., that's on their final list is L.A., they'd be fools to put this headquarters in L.A. L.A. is, for lack of a better term, a bleep hole country. I live here. I get to say that. Okay, the total includes a new campus and $10 billion toward data centers across the country. It also will expand from $1 billion to $5 billion, a fund established last year for investing in advanced manufacturing in the United States. Now, one of the reasons that I think that this is good that Apple is announcing this is, as I've been saying for months, there's a difference between the government giving a company-specific giveaway to places like Apple and making broad-scale policy changes that have a good impact on Apple. It's useful for companies to sound off publicly and say, here are the policies that benefit my business, so long as those policies are not specifically geared toward paying you off. And that's not what this policy was designed to do. Apple's $38 billion tax commitment, this is according to the Wall Street Journal, is the largest such sum announced in response to the major overhaul of the U.S. tax code President Trump signed into law late last year. That law included an incentive for U.S. companies to bring home offshore holdings, with companies required to pay a one-time tax of 15.5% on overseas profits held in cash and other liquid assets. So instead of them having to keep all of that money overseas, instead, they get to now bring that money home and invest it here in the United States. These tax changes are very good. Obviously, not the end of all life on Earth. So Tim Cook, who is the post-Steve Jobs head of Apple, was asked about all this. He said some of this was planned already, but some of it wasn't, and the Trump tax cuts had something to do with it.
No, there are clearly, let me be clear, there are large parts of this that are a result of the tax reform, and there's large parts of this that we would have done in any situation.
So it sounds like President Trump's tax bill has been a huge windfall for Apple.
Well, there are two parts of tax bill, right? There's a corporate piece and an individual piece. I do believe the corporate tax side will result in job creation and a faster growing economy.
Okay, so again, all of the talk about how this was the end of the economy, everything was going to go terribly, it's nonsense. The stock market has gained 1,000 points in the last 8 days. Consumer confidence is high, as well it should be. Again, confidence in the economy is less based on the actual policy that the economy is currently sustaining. It is more based on predictability. In the economy, if you own a business, right? We run a business here at Daily Wire. One of the things that makes it very difficult to do business in the state of California is you don't know from day to day what exactly the state legislature in California is going to do. That means that we have to think twice before we hire someone. Do we want to hire somebody simply to fire them? Or do we want to hire somebody simply to have our profit margins cut arbitrarily by the state through tax regulation? The same thing holds true in all areas of the marketplace. The marketplace is always in flux. That is why I think it's George Gilder who talks about the idea that the economy, a well-run economy, should basically be like the static on a phone line. Right? The job of the government is to make sure that that static is as low as possible. That there's a certain predictability to whatever hum is in the background. The worst thing that can happen on a phone is not that there's static, but there's intermittent static. You actually would prefer a low level of consistent static on a phone call to every so often you just lose the call for 5 to 10 seconds. Right? Because then you can't understand what anybody is saying. It's the predictability of the economy that matters even more than the level of static in the economy, so long as the level of static in the economy isn't at some enormous rate where nothing can get done and it totally stagnates the economy. Now, what's amazing about all of this is, again, the economy is doing really well. The jobless claims are at their lowest level now since something like 1973. So there's still problems in the economy in terms of people reintegrating into the economy after years of spending time out of the economy. We're still paying too much in terms of people who are on unemployment insurance. But the economy continues to do really well. And the Democrats are very upset about this. People on the left are very upset about this, which goes to show, when people like me said we wanted Obama to fail, I said, I think that Rush Limbaugh was right. I wanted Obama to fail. The reason I wanted Obama to fail was not because I wanted something bad for the country, but because I wanted his policies to fail. I didn't want him as president to fail. I would prefer that he embrace all of the policies that I like, do all those things, and the country succeeds. The reason I wanted Obama to fail is because he disagreed with all of my policies and he helped stagnate the economy. The difference is that people on the left are actually not happy when the economy does well. Right? When the economy did well under President Obama, or did mediocre under President Obama, I urged caution because I thought that his regulatory policy was really bad. But I was quite happy that the economy was doing well. You can see the difference. Chris Mathews is very upset about this. So he's back from vacation. You remember there were a lot of accusations that Chris Mathews, on MSNBC, and playing hardball with his female employees. He's been yelling at them, saying mean things to them. Wake up in the morning, comes out, they shoo, and say stuff. Well, now he's back. He's on MSNBC with Beardy McBeardalot. Don't know who this guy is. And Chris Mathews starts talking about how maybe it is a bad thing if the economy grows. Maybe it's bad for America if the economy grows because Trump or something.
I get the sense that one of the reasons the Dow Jones is going up, it's generally good news. But in this case, I wonder if it is, because what it means is all the stuff that we rooted for the last 40 or 50 years, the Clean Water Act, the Clean Air Act, all the things that good legislators like Ed Muskie got through are being termited to death, are being killed by administrators who want the government to fail in its mission.
Don't you understand? We need the regulations that kill the economy because it makes life better for so many Americans. That's why. The regulations are great. And if it screws a bunch of Americans and your stocks go down, you lose your 401k, well, I laugh at you. And then I go buy another shoe to comb my hair with. First of all, I love that MSNBC actually has chyrons like this, right? Look at the chyron on this MSNBC clip. Okay, just put up the freeze frame here. It's even worse than you think, right? And then it just shows America on fire. Yeah, they're not rooting for disaster or anything. It's even worse than you think with America on fire. Well, I didn't think it was that bad, honestly. I think that it's a lot better than you think. I mean, these people are crazy. People talk about Trump derangement syndrome. I mean, this is full-on Trump derangement syndrome. I hope that the economy goes to hell so that we can blame Trump for regulatory policy. And this comes from the same school of thought where people are very angry that in places like Seattle, there are companies that now will say, here is what your bottle of soda would cost. Here is what it costs with the soda tax, and like doubles the price. And they're very angry that people would make this clear. Or businesses that say, here's what I'd be charging you if I didn't have to pay my employees minimum wage. People say, oh, how dare they? People did this with Obamacare too. Okay, reality suggests that when you get rid of regulations on businesses, businesses do better. Sorry that reality does, but that's just the reality. But over on MSNBC, they refuse to recognize reality because reality is oftentimes discriminatory, sexist, racist, bigoted.
Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton's the best. I don't know why everybody's always ripping on Hillary Clinton. She's so beautiful. She's so romantic. She doesn't make a throw go up my leg like Obama, but that's for different reasons. It's for different reasons. I mean, no one finds her sexually attractive. Her husband doesn't even find her sexually attractive. But I think that she's a wonderful, wonderful woman who must never be criticized in any way, any possible way. Here's Chris Mathews going around. Stay.
First of all, an overall sort of aesthetic, historic assessment. When Christie was up there with that very rough justice, I might put it, of Hillary Clinton, and he kept saying, in each case, I'm going to ask you for your verdict. It did remind me of them old Swords and Sandals movies with the Roman emperor going up or down in the Colosseum. But you know what? And I get the feeling he wanted, if they had said, kill her now, it was almost that bloodthirsty. It was like this stuff. And the audience, as requested, responded always with the verdict of guilty. And they said it in a blood-curdling way every time.
It's blood curdling. I mean, it reminded me of this one time when I was down in Venezuela and I saw a cockfight. And I don't know why I was there or what I was doing. I was really drunk at the time. But I can explain to you that whenever the chicken was really wounded, I would just go up or down, up or down. And that's what I also do with my thumb sometimes with a pie. I just go home and I go up or down, and then I suck my thumb and it tastes delicious. But let me just tell you, after I get in here and I comb my hair with a shoe, and come out and I say, you tuck down in Capehart, then it really is important that these people not be so bloodthirsty. I mean, yeah, the Republicans are all criminals and they should all go to jail and die. But the Democrats are the Democrats, they don't deserve this treatment. They're wonderful people. They're great. Hillary's wonderful. She's great. Not only that, they treat it like it was a witch hunt. Like it was a witch hunt, like it was Salem. Like it was a Salem witch hunt. Like they're going to throw her in the lake and then see if she floats or swims. Ha! And we're gonna take her, we're gonna throw her in the lake, we're gonna see if she floats or swims, and if she floats, that means she's a witch, and if she sinks, that means she's innocent. Ha! Chris Mathews, go, Chris, go.
I mean, I was thinking tonight, in this festival of hating Hillary tonight, this brewing up of almost a witch-like ritual tonight, I kept thinking, wait a minute, They already hate Hillary.
Yeah.
So what's the point? And does this get to the middle of the road voter who's saying, you know, I'm worried about my kids, my kids, I may have all kinds of issues, but none of them really relate to how much I hate Hillary. They relate to other things. I know these people are all imperfect. I know Hillary's got this credibility problem, but I only got a choice here. How does this make me like Trump anymore?
She's got an I understand she's got a discredibility and credibility, discombobulability problem. I get it. Okay, so the reason, Chris, let me explain to you why people are angry. The reason people are angry is because people like you have been dismissing the fact that Hillary Clinton is deeply corrupt for as long as some of us have been alive. Right? For longer than you've had that current hairline, you've been doing that. And Chris Mathews, this is why. You want to see why? Here is why. Here is Chris Mathews.
What is an easier thing for these delegates to do in the next 3 days?
Yeah.
To find evil in Hillary Clinton or good in Donald Trump? It's far easier.
Well,
they go after
it's easier to unify.
They go after everything. Rudy Giuliani went way back, to something to do with the listening posts in Eastern Europe. Our anti-ballistic missile systems to say that she's basically not to be trusted. They reach for things about Hillary to say that, she let her emails get exposed to hacking, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, she was responsible for what happened in Benghazi because of dereliction of duty. But try to get them to find the fervor, to find the good in Donald Trump. It's much harder, so they go to what they say is the evil in Hillary Clinton again and again tonight.
Okay, so it's blah, 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 right? That's the key point. She exposed her emails to the foreign powers to see our national security secrets and put CIA agents at risk. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's because you say blah, blah, blah that everybody reacts by saying